Welcome back to another episode of Just Jossin Around. We have a very different looking episode today, but I'm very excited. We have Jamie Schreiner.
Hey, hi everybody.
You are in Chicago.
Yes, I am phoning in literally on my phone from Chicago, Illinois. That is correct.
That's exciting. This is great. Your background is a lot cooler than mine, as we've discussed.
Honestly, so I moved into my friend Carrie. I moved into her apartment. This is all Carrie. Like the walls being the cool colors. I will say, like, you can't see off camera. I hung 3 paintings that I got in Portland once, so like I contributed that. But other than that, the rest of the aesthetic is 100% my roommate. Yeah, she is a real artist when it comes to, well, especially like with the interior design. She has such an amazing eye for it. Like I wish this was like crib style where I could show you the whole place, because she really
goes in. I appreciate that. I just moved in with someone who, like, we both have like very unique, I feel like, styles of decorating, but it's like I appreciate both, and I'm like, this is cute. I love it. But
it's fun when that happens, because it's like I feel like she has a very like calm, like plant mom, but like has quirkiness to it as well, aesthetic. Whereas like my room, right? I mean, I'm really glad you can't see my room on camera, because it's like a chaos pit of just ADHD clothes piles, and it's a lot.
I mostly want to swan dive onto the pink blanket in the background.
Yeah, the pink blanket. Honestly, when I first got divorced, I was like, I'm doing like a total like hyper femme girly girl bedroom again. So it's like, I have the pink fluffy blanket. I have like pink satin pillowcases and sheet. Like, it's very much like,
I love that.
My 16-year-old Jamie dream. Like, what I would have wanted when I was like, not even 6, probably like 6. Like literally when I was a little kid. It's like, so I love it though. It's definitely like, very calming for me to like, come back to this space, even though I do need to clean. Like, I'm looking.
That's okay. Listen, the camera is here up. Wait. Okay, so you said you got your divorce. How long ago was that?
So I got divorced in February.
Okay.
The process began in like the fall.
Were you married to a man?
I was married to a man.
You're just so queer coded to me that I'm like, I can't believe.
I mean, honestly, it's so funny because like I went to my gay they friend is getting married in July. And so I went to the batch, and it was funny because like we as a joke, while we were all drinking in the pool at Kalahari, we ranked everybody from like most gay to least gay. And I was definitely ranked like high on the list as like one of the most gay people. I think it's like, honestly, like I feel like I'm so textbook bisexual in that like I love women, I love AFAB people, I'm so attracted to them, but men are just, they're so easy. Like, I don't mean to be rude, but men are so like it's just like they throw themselves at you and you're like, oh my gosh, you little slut. So, I don't know. But no, I'm being rude when I say that, but I do think it's like a lot of my very close friends who are queer have held me accountable for like, Jamie, you need to stop just like hooking up with men because it's easy, and you need to like go like, because my thing is just like I am very like shy when it comes to that. I don't really like to shoot. I don't like to shoot my shot. I would prefer somebody to shoot their shot
with you.
And I receive the shot at me. That sounded way worse than I wanted.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm kind of just in the place right now where it's like I'm not really like trying to see anybody seriously. I'm trying to like focus on like my comedy and healing and having fun, and like I think that it's my humble opinion that like the right person will present themselves to me, or like I will encounter them like just by not worrying about it right now.
Exactly.
That's kind of where I'm at. But yes, I was married to a man, and a lot of people I think that's part of why, you know, I mean, we got into a fight because he didn't want to go see the Barbie movie. You know what I mean? Like,
red flag.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, at that point, you're already like married for 6 years, and you're like, wow, this is the red flag of all red flags. Yeah. And we've been married for 6 years at this point, and that was like, again, it's like I could go on and on and on, but that was a moment where I was like, oh, like I am getting into a 20-minute argument with you because you don't want to sit through an hour and 30-minute movie because you're like, that's not for me, even though it would make me very happy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah.
But I.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm loving what it's doing for you. Like you said, you're focusing on comedy and stuff, and that's where we need you.
Well, my thing is, it's just like, I think it's like, my friend Diana. So Diana Hong, if you go look on the internet right now, anybody who's a listener, she's a very, very funny comedian based in LA right now. But I was staying with her and her fiance Kayla, and Diana is so funny to me because I was like, like going on and on to her about all of my like woes past. Like, she's one of the people who is really like, A of all, you need to stop like going for men because it's easy. I know you're bi, whatever.
Yeah.
You gotta stop. And then she also was like, B of all, like she thinks that she's like, you need to be with a down ass bitch, and I think she's so right. Like I'm a Leo, like
I'm a Leo too. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you need
a down ass
like,
bitch.
Obsessed with you.
Yes.
I need somebody who's obsessed with me. I need a down ass bitch. Whoa. That was fun for the viewers at home.
That's great.
I feel like that was instant karma. Like I'm like, I need a down ass bitch.
Camera said I'm a down ass bitch.
Yeah, the camera's a down ass bitch.
Yeah.
But that's my thing, is it's like, I think the reason why I need a down ass bitch, and you probably relate to this as a Leo. Leos need to be with a down ass bitch because we are down ass bitches.
Exactly.
Everybody that we love and care about, like if I care about you, even if I remotely care about
Sorry,
you,
the thumbs up. Like, I don't know
where I care about. Even if I just remotely care about you, even if we're just casual acquaintances, if I hear from you, you need help with something or you're struggling with something, I am immediately like, okay, here's option A, B, C, D, E. Like I'm making a laundry list of things we can do to solve the problem because I fucking love it. So that's why it's like, I keep my fucking character flaw is that I keep going for these like avoidant ass air sign ass motherfuckers, and I gotta stop. I gotta stop with the avoidant air sign energy because it's like I love air signs. Yeah. But the air sign has to have some earth or some fire in that chart because I need. Yeah. You gotta you gotta be able to rock with me, hold me down.
And it's like, it's the obsessed with me in a way that's like, it's not narcissistic. It's like, you just like, you want to be here. Like you are showing up. That's everything you said, I'm snapping aggressively too, because it's very real.
And that's why I think that's why, like, also, I don't know if you have ADHD as well.
Yes.
Okay. So like so this is so specific. This is such a niche experience, but like the Leo ADHD experience, I think that we are so easily susceptible to and fall for love bombing because we're like, of course you're obsessed with me.
Yeah.
And then when it stops, when they switch it up, you're like,
exactly. And so yeah. I notice I feel like, so I have not been like, I say yes, I have ADHD because like I'm a female comic. I'm like, of course there's something there. Yeah. I'm not diagnosed, but I definitely like, I understand, I have fallen. And so I came out as a lesbian like a year and a half ago. But before I was in these relationships with men, and it was very like, everything you're saying is like so valid because men will be all of that in the beginning. And then, like, as the relationship goes on, you peel back the layers and you're like, oh, this is not what I signed up for. This is terrible.
And it's like, honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, I see the type of love and, like, down-ass bitchery that I see with my queer friends. Yes. Like, partnerships. Yeah. It makes me, like, it's honestly what gives me hope and belief that, like, that kind of dynamic is out there for me. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to push it or force it. Like, I think it's just, like, if it's going to happen, it'll happen. But it's, like, the best example I could give, like, again, these people, I won't say last names, but if you look up, Shaylin and Liz are my friends. You can, like, search through my followers and see who I'm talking about. They, like, their love is so pure and beautiful. Yeah. I just think of, like, we went on this trip. We went to the Red Rocks to see the Chicks, which is like the gayest trip that you could go on. But it was for Shaylin's birthday, and like Shaylin was super stressed because she wanted to go horseback riding for her birthday before the concert, and we couldn't. Like, it looked like we were maybe not going to find a place that like could get us in in time. And Liz was just so calm and like, it's gonna work out, honey. It's gonna be okay. Aww. Whereas like, I just think of how like any of my ex-husband, ex-boyfriends, how any of them would have spoke to me if I was stressed about something like that. They would be like, oh my God, you're making a big deal out of nothing. Like, but just the way that she was like calm, but like supportive and reassuring. And then also flash forward to at the concert, this creepy man was trying to take pictures of me and Shaylin as we were leaving, like of our bodies. Liz like threw his phone. like away.
Oh my gosh.
That is the most, honestly, to this day, that is the most romantic gesture I have ever seen done for anyone. Like,
it's
like,
beautiful.
So, and Liz is a Leo, so I was like, yeah, it was like one of, she was like, no, like she just threw the phone.
Yeah.
Like that was, like we all deserve a person who loves us so much that if they see another person disrespecting us in that way, they'll throw their fucking phone off the red.
I love,
that or nothing is my opinion. I know I'm coming in really hot.
No, I'm like clapping aggressively over here. I'm like, I love this.
Yeah,
it's
like
making me smile.
And I'll be honest, like if you're listening to this and you're thinking of your situationship and you're feeling a little bit guilty, let me tell you, sis, like my other advice too is always like, don't invest, get yourself going. But it's like, if it's a committed, serious thing, then the bar needs to not be at hell. The bar needs to be throwing a phone off the Red Rocks. It's just two different things. It's like, are you just messing around or are you serious? If you're serious with somebody, they need to be serious about you. They need to be a down-ass bitch.
They need to be throwing phones. Yes.
They need to be throwing phones off
the red. I love the examples that you've had just ready to go. Like all of that, I'm like 100% yes. I love that. And I do feel like, well, I mean, maybe this is just like I just feel like queer relationship, there's just more empathy and there's more like, so it's, it's so much. Yeah, that was something that I was like, whoa, a part of me coming out as a lesbian was like me like loving myself and like accepting love in relationships, because sometimes in straight there's just like, you're like, I am just, what is, oh my gosh, the freaking Chapel Roan, the Good Luck Babe, the bridge where she's like, you wake up one day, you're just his wife. That's it. You're just his wife. There's no.
And it's like you could have had, and like on the flip side of that, her song, Super Graphic Ultra Modern Girl, like I've been so obsessed with that song because like there's something like so beautiful about her depiction of like sharing secrets under the like mattress. Like, I feel like it's like when you like, even if things don't work out in a queer relationship, like there's still such like, maybe some people will disagree with me when I say this, but I feel like my queer relationships, there's been such a love and respect and like a rapport for that person that I've not experienced with the men I've dated. Like usually the men I've dated, we are mortal enemies now, blocked on everything. Blocked. If I see you, it's on sight. Like it's just like, it's because deep down in their hearts, I think a lot of them do not respect or care for women. A lot of them truly hate women. Like, and it's weird because I'm like, if you hate women, then just be with men. But I'm sorry.
They have to unpack that.
That's something that they would have to unpack. But it's like, I do think I'm a little bit of a walking contradiction in terms of like, I do think that like, I love women. I'm scared to flirt with women. And so I have a tendency to, because of my trauma, and we're working through this, we're you know, like we're trying to move past it. But it's like, I do have a tendency to like, I've always gone for guys who are a little mean. Like, being a little mean, or, and that's something that's like, I'm really proud of myself for like realizing that about myself. And I'm kind of in the place now where like, I'm able to see it before I get carried away ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I'm able to go, oh, this is a pattern. Like, let's and I think that's part of why I've been like so focused on like, I might like go have fun with somebody right now. I might like mess around, but I'm not like trying to like actively pursue anything sincere until I've unpacked all of that.
You're busy as hell. Like you're booked and busy. And I have been I've been following you for a while. The first time I remember meeting you was when you performed at Bourbon Theater in Lincoln.
I love that. It's like, I'm like, that was such a beautiful time.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd ever seen, I feel like I was still pretty new to stand up, but there's not many, like, I feel like a lot of people doing what you're doing. And so it was just so creative. And I remember like my just jaw being on the floor with you, your style, your creativity, like everything. I was just like, this is it.
Oh, thank you. No, I honestly, I remember that show was so special to me too. Cause I think, I found out my grandma passed away on the way to that show.
Whoa.
And I had this it was so spooky because I was in a rental car.
Yeah.
And because I got one just because it's so far to Lincoln from Chicago. So I was like, let me rent a car for like a couple days just to keep those miles out. Or I think my car had broken down. So I forget why I was in a rental, but I wasn't connected, like my music wasn't connected, and I got the call from my mom and I hung up the phone and I started driving, and like I hadn't Bluetooth connected my phone, but like through the speakers, the song No Time at All from Pippin started playing. I don't know if you're familiar with Pippin. But
I'm
then,
not,
like, Pippin,
but just the name of it, yeah.
Yeah, but like No Time at All, it's the grandma singing to like the main character.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, it's one of those
Whoa,
things
that
like,
is spooky.
It was spooky because I like hadn't connected to Bluetooth, and I changed that story a little bit for a joke in my hours so that it would be more of a callback and more like silly. But like that was such a cool, I always associate Lincoln with that moment because I thought that was just like, what the hell? Like,
and then you
I
performed.
was like, I was like, that's Donna. Like, she had to have.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't connected to the thing. It just started playing. And why that song of all the songs that could have played on my Bluetooth, like that wasn't on my on repeat or anything on Spotify. So it was just it was very spooky and cool. And I got to meet like the wonderful Brad Stewart,
yeah.
Rest in peace. But the thing is like, I'm just so grateful because I've been trying to set up a show with him for like years.
Yeah.
And it finally worked out, and I'm glad it worked out. And I was able to like meet him in person and interact with him, while he was still with us. But yeah, I love Nebraska. I'm excited to hopefully, in the works we can do something in the fall.
I know. I had that on my list of things I wanted to bring up because I mean, I am constantly seeing you on shows. You just put out your special. I mean, I say just put out. It was like a couple months ago? Or was it
about like a month and a half
ago? Okay. Corn Baby?
Yes, Corn Baby.
Which honestly is very Nebraska coded. But I know you're from Indiana.
Yes, I'm from Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm from like basically an hour outside of Chicago.
Okay.
So like Valparaiso. My dad grew up on the south side. My mom grew up in Chesterton.
Yeah.
It was like one town over, and then they met in high school. And
sweet.
The rest is history. Yeah. No, I have a love-hate relationship with Indiana. I feel like it's like a lot of my lifelong best friends I met in that state. So it's like I go home to see them.
Yeah.
But like I don't love how the policy is all going and everything. And I'm sure it's like Nebraska. I mean, I loved Nebraska, but it's like I can imagine that like when you leave Lincoln or you leave, like the major cities, it might be a very different state.
Yeah. It's I feel like a fake Nebraskan. My family's military, so I moved here like a couple years ago, and now I just have roots here. And I'm like, I feel like I've just been like, and now like instead of squatters' rights, it's just like Midwesterners' rights. Like I just am a Midwesterner now. But how long did it take for you to like? How many years was Corn Baby into effect? Like I feel like it takes a couple years to build that much material and then unload it all. So what was that process?
So I started like the jokes in Corn Baby I have been working on since I started stand up, which is 7 years ago, but I would say like I'd say more like 6 years of work just because the pandemic year was kind of more of a like restful, reflective year and a writing year than it was an actual performing year. But the thing with Corn Baby is basically I had Comedy Dynamics, and I had been like going back and forth via email of like, are you interested in doing an album?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, would a special with it be possible? And they're like, well, if you're willing to like fund it yourself, we'll pay for all the audio if you can just pay for the video. And I kept thinking to myself, I was like, well, like the audio at least is covered, whereas like if I had to pay for all of it myself, self-produce, it would be even more. And like I'm getting the name of this reputable company on it. And like I just talked to a lot of people close to me, and I got a lot of different opinions. Some people were like self-produced, some people were like, work with them. And I kind of just ultimately decided, I was like, I like working with them on it because it's like it almost like if I do it myself, I could keep pushing back and pushing back and pushing back and never do it. I'm such a procrastinator because of ADHD, and I have a Gemini Mars, and I blame both, but it's like I will push back the deadline. And so I was like, if I'm working with
someone, then
I'm kind of forced to lock into
like accountable.
Yes, it holds me accountable. So that was kind of why I did it. And then it was like, I started getting divorced. Like we like, so I filmed it and recorded it May 2023. That July we broke up. Then we got back together, and then we like stayed together for like a couple more months before breaking up again. And so it's like when the actual like audio album came out, it was like I was actively in the middle of like separating from and divorcing my husband. So I didn't really like hit the promo as hard as I would have liked. And then when the video was finally done, I was like, let me just wait and just release this on like the 1-year anniversary of recording it, just because like, again, I was actively going through getting divorced. And so
experiencing
it's like,
life.
It's like, it's interesting because it's like the hour I'm like so proud of, and like
it looks gorgeous.
So
it's beautiful.
Thank you so much. And I feel like it's like, it looks beautiful because like Eric Freddy has a lot of experience with videography, as well as like, so Dan Wilcop is the guy that did sound and lights for me. And I met Dan years ago. There used to be this DIY show in Chicago called Shithole. And basically like they would just do a pop-up show in different venues all over the city of Chicago, like 3 or 4 times a week. And it was like also like an art collective, and I miss it so much. There's nothing really like it anymore in Chicago, but it was like one of the first rooms that I did comedy in. And so when I wanted to do the special, I knew I needed to collab with Dan, because I was like, he's the master of like making a DIY space beautiful. And the Color Club is a beautiful space, but it was like, I knew I needed the lighting to be a little bit more precise. And then I brought like the inflatable couch and the rug, and like I just
made it.
I said to James, honestly, this looks so much like the rug, but it's pink. But yeah, I was like, it needs to have that fluffy, like Jamie vibe. And yeah, I feel like I got very much off the point of the question.
No, it's what I wanted to hear. And I did have a follow-up though. Like, were you always incorporating music into your stand-up, or was that something that came later?
Okay, so it's so funny. So I went to school for musical theater. And then when I got out of theater school and I was auditioning, I freaking hated it, because I just kept getting called in for like the fat quirky friend who doesn't really sing. And it's like all of them have the same kind of lines, the same kind of story arc. And I was just like, this is so tired, and like I don't really feel creatively challenged by this. And I was like, I feel like I have more to say than this.
Exactly.
And so I had right out of school, I had written these 2 one-person shows that I was touring around with. One of them was called Little Miss, and it was about like my struggles with like, I do have like compulsive overeating. And the other one was called Wife Material, and I was exploring, can a queer, sex positive, polyamorous person make it work in a what appears to the public eye heteronormative marriage. And the funny, the spoiler alert is that I could not. I did get divorced, but it was something that I like toured around with. And basically the point that I'm getting to with this is that with with Little Miss, I rewrote songs that existed as parody songs. With Wife Material, I worked with this really, really great director in Chicago. His name's Stefan Brun. And when I told him the idea for Wife Material, and I showed him the script, I had like, for all the songs, I had like songs that I was going to parody. And he was like, you should write your own songs. And I remember like laughing in his face and being like, I'm not a songwriter. I'm an actress and a singer. And he's like, yeah, but you weren't a writer when you wrote this play. If anybody knows how to write songs, it should be you, if you studied musical theater. So go write the songs. And I honestly, like, I owe so much to Stefan, and just like, he gave me permission. Like he said, go write the songs. And it's funny because it's like, I went home that week and I came back the next week, because we were meeting once a week, just developing the show. I came back the next week with all the songs. Like, I think I maybe wrote, over the course of the rest of the year, I punched up the lyrics and I fixed the backing tracks a bit, but it was like, I wrote all the songs for the show in the first week after he said, go write the songs. And so when I started doing open mics, it was to promote that show. This is a very long
Really?
But it was like,
no, that's so interesting. Okay, yeah.
And so I started doing open mics to promote Wife Material.
Yeah.
And that was how I met like the Shithole crew and everybody, because Shithole was more of a variety show. And I hated that every single time I would do an open mic or a variety show, I was just seeing people telling the same kind of jokes and talking about the same kind of things. And it made me go, well, let me try this now. And so I went and tried an open mic, and I just immediately fell in love with it. And I will say, to begin with, yes, I did try to incorporate the songs as much as I could. And people hated the shit out of me for it. Like nobody was cool with it. Everybody was mad. I would walk in with my little speaker and people would roll their eyes.
Yeah.
And I did internalize that at the time. And I tried to, like, pre-pandemic, I tried to, well, let me just do stand-up. Like, people think this is lame, so I'm not going to do it. But then when the lockdown happened and I was so miserable to not be able to perform, because, like, you get it as a performer, we love it so much. I promised myself that when I got out, I was going to say, fuck you guys in the back.
Yeah.
I want to do the kind of art I want to do.
Yep.
And after that, like, I kind of just full throttle was like, we're doing the songs. Y'all can kiss my ass. I have ADHD and I walk through my house singing at all times of the day. So it's like the songs are part of, like, it's not like I'm doing it because I can't be funny.
Yeah.
It's a part of my personality.
Yes.
And so
I love that's so badass, especially because I feel like, I mean, I'm so focused on like what other people are saying. So to like look criticism in the face and be like, no, this is me. This is this is my art. Like, I love that.
Thank you. And I feel like it's been for better, for worse. Like it's put me in the places I need to be in with the people who do like it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah. You will find your audience. Yeah.
And there are people who. Yeah.
I think, and also I feel like where you're at in Chicago, it's like, what a better place to do that. I feel like that's like the dream audience. I feel like, at least, yeah, some maybe not all Chicago, but most.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say like the people in Chicago who really fuck with it.
Yeah.
I'm just really grateful to be here because it is a great place to like incubate and work out new stuff.
Oh yeah. You kind of brought it up when you were describing like what you wanted like the special to look like. You wanted it Jamie-fied, and you definitely have like your own like brand and style in my mind and in other people's minds as well. Like who are your inspirations? Is that like 1,000% like this is your style that you've curated, or where are you drawing inspo from? What's your Pinterest board?
Okay. Oh man. Okay. So like I would say like I kind of just, so I love color. I love sparkle.
The neons. Yeah.
I love stuff to be like handmade or like artists created. Like I really am passionate about that. But I do think like as far as like style inspirations, I definitely am very inspired by like, I love the style of like the hippies and the stuff. Like that, as well as like I feel like it's like if you took like really, really bold, crazy, like 80s glam rock band outfits and then like cottagecore lesbian outfits and then like somebody who's literally being in a production of Hair the Musical and then mix that all together. I feel like that's my style. But then I also like, I feel like I wanna, it's the Aquarius moon in me that it's like I want to be
that makes sense.
The most Jamie Shriner that I can be. Yeah, like it's like I want it to be like, I want it to be that it's like I'm my own unique thing, but I know that like my stuff does definitely reference people that are similar to me, and I think, I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm somebody who like I loved the Mighty Boosh and Pee-wee's Playhouse, so it's like I dress like a freak, like because I love those things. And
yeah.
Like, I always I think it's funny too because it was like I think part of my like awakening to myself and my Saturn return was me like getting bolder with my style, because I wanted to dress in this bold kind of cuckoo way. Yeah. But like my ex and my like older friends who I'm not as close to anymore, like a lot of people will be like, oh my God, you're wearing that. Like that's so much. And I think it is just like, the better I got in my comedy and the more confident I got in my like on stage persona, I was able to just like really let that be an opportunity to like let my style shine. Because the last thing I would say is like a friend of mine in Chicago, Ed Towns, he's joked with me a few times of like, I need you to stop getting funnier, because the funnier you get, the stupider your outfits get. It's just like,
that's great.
But it's like, yeah, I think it's a thing where it's like I feel really sure of myself in a way that I haven't previously in my life, and so it's like my inner world is coming out.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really, I mean, I always get excited looking at your page just in general, because you do always have that shit on. I can't help but like you bring up, you know, astrology. You are into astrology.
I'm really into it. It's like, honestly, for better or for worse, it's absolutely so annoying to like my close friends, because my close friends will be like, "Oh, I'm really going through it." I'm like, "Well, it is your Saturn returns," and they're like, "Shut the
No,
fuck
I
up." But it's
need you
like,
in my
no.
life to tell me those things. I need to know, because I'm always like, it's so hard like to deny like the relation to astrology to like what's going on, but I just like don't know like where to start with that. But like you, I feel like I could give you my time of birth and you would tell me.
I probably could. I was gonna say,
That's awesome.
if you told me your sun, moon, rising, and like if you let me look at the circle, I could definitely give you like a general overview.
I love that.
I wouldn't say I'm like brilliant at it, but I do know like I would say like within my own chart, my biggest obstacle is seeming more outgoing than I actually am. Because I like this is like the placements I have. I'm a Leo sun with an Aquarius moon, and Aries rising, and then my Venus, which is like the love and relationship sign, is in Virgo.
Okay.
So my Gemini is in Mars. So very early when it's like sex, and we're getting to know each other, that's Gemini. So I'm chaos. I'm like, let's go. I'm starting things and not finishing them.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, I can't ever be like, I need to get better at like trying to just accept people for who they are, because my Virgo Venus makes it so like I've been relating so hard to that like Sabrina Carpenter song where she said, "Don't embarrass me."
Yes,
like,
yes.
Literally, anytime I fall for somebody or develop a crush on somebody, I'm like, this is embarrassing. Like I'm so embarrassed. Like I flirt them.
Yeah.
Ew. And it's horrible and not kind of me, and I should have empathy and not hold people to like some unrealistic standard, because I don't hold myself to that standard.
Yeah.
And I don't hold my friends to that standard. But when I'm looking at like, oh, could I have a future with you, it's like I'm probably gonna have to do some work before I can have a future with anybody, because the Virgo Venus is really getting in the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say all that to say, like, I think that the thing that people need to, if you take nothing else away, listeners, from what I'm saying about astrology, it should be this. And it's that it's not just the one placement or the one sign. It's like how the things interact with each other. Like, for example, my roommate, she's an Aquarius with a Scorpio moon, and we are gang. Like, we are really close.
Yeah.
Whereas like my ex had a Scorpio moon but was a Libra, and those two things together with my things, like, it created a toxic, volatile, chaotic situation.
Yeah.
And I think it's just one of those things where people are like, oh, well, I'm this, so this. And it's like, no, like there's a lot more nuance to it. And there's also like with each of the signs, as well as like the sign within that placement, there's the evolved and the unevolved version of that sign. Like I think of it as like Charmander versus Charizard,
Yeah.
Like, and we should all be working on ourselves to show up as Charizard, because we're getting too damn old to be like doing the Charmander things.
I love how you said that. Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like I am. It's one of those things that's like, I feel like this has got to be part of like being a woman from the Midwest. But I'm like, I've been talking so much.
No, I like
this girl.
No, I'm very, no, this is great. And like, also, I just feel like it's also the examples that you pull where I'm like, she's just on the fly. Like, it's just really impressive.
Thank you.
But also just really fun, because at least something I've been trying to do with this podcast. So we're like located in Omaha, and so I get a lot of Omaha comedians, or it was someone's passing through, I really try to like have them on. But it's a goal of mine has been to just like reach out to comics outside of the scene, because I just want to hear perspectives on life, on comedy, because it just is so easy to get trapped in such a small scene. And so yeah, I love everything that you've brought to the table so far.
Thank you so much. And I love, like, I feel like you're reminding me of things that, like, it's funny because it's like, I get that Chicago might be like a comedy scene that's seen in a different way than Omaha's, but it's still like there's still some of that like small.
Yeah.
And I think that's any city, any comedy city that you go to, like you can kind of get bogged down in the place you're in. So it's nice to like lift your head up and look around you to like other places. Yeah, it's just
exactly
so cute as well.
And it's I know that there's like the, you know, like the reoccurring characters in our scene. I'm sure you can find them in Chicago. But I mean, Chicago's just also a really cool place that I have yet to visit. I would love to go out and visit, but everyone that I meet that comes from there is just really cool and creative. So you are potentially coming to Omaha in October.
Yes. Everybody stay tuned. That's in the works. That is in the works.
In the
right
works.
Now, so
is it? Can we discuss what the works is? Can we get into details of like? Okay, cool. Because I want to talk about Grief Cat and like how you guys met and like how's that forming.
Yes. No. Yeah. Okay. So basically, to like let the cat out of the bag a little bit early.
Let the Grief Cat out of the bag.
Stay tuned on my page and Grief Cat's page.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be doing some touring with Grief Cat in the fall. In October, we're gonna do Midwest states, and then November we're doing East Coast states.
Nice.
And basically Grief Cat. So my manager met Grief Cat because of America's Got Talent casting. I think is how she met them.
Okay, yeah.
And because they've auditioned for that for a few different times.
Yep.
And so she told them about me, and so they followed me, and I was like, oh my god, Grief Cat just followed me, and I freaked out because I love their stuff.
Yeah.
And so I messaged them. I was like, I love you guys, and they were like, we love you. And then we kind of just like started talking back and forth, and then I just got on like a FaceTime with them, and I was like, how would you feel about like coming to the Midwest for some shows, and I could come out there for some shows in the fall? And they were like, that sounds great. And so it's like one of those things that's just like it really just happened very organically, but I'm like super excited just in terms of we both have very similar, like, I don't want to say values is what I want to say, and I think that's right. We have very similar values to what we're talking about in our comedy, as well as like the musical component. And I think that like there's a lot of crossover to like the people that would be fans of me and the people that would be fans of them. So I think it's going to be a really fun run of shows, and I'm just excited to like, you know, meet them and work with them, because we've been planning this remotely from our different, like they're in DC and I'm in Chicago.
Okay.
So like,
I was wondering where they're based from. Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of be like coming together for the first time in the fall, but it's like,
that's exciting.
It's exciting stuff. It's like getting underway, because we have, I can't announce, like we're still working on the Lincoln Omaha day right now. Yep. I forget. I think we said Omaha. I think
I would prefer the Lincoln is so down. They're cool. Yeah.
Then let's do the Lincoln one. So yeah, I'm like, did we say? I feel like that's the thing is like I need to be better with like Lincoln and Omaha. I mix up in my head, but I think Lincoln is right. That's what I wrote down. But basically, so we're working on getting everyone who's listening who lives in Nebraska. We're working on getting a Nebraska date, but we can I can't say out loud. We have confirmed we're doing Madison, Wisconsin at the
nice.
On October 28th, and then we're going to be doing Beat Kitchen in Chicago. So if I run a show every Tuesday in Chicago called Chicago Underground Comedy, it's me and a few other girls. We're doing like a Grief Cat takeover. So we're going to do like the big concert room, and I'm so fucking excited.
No, that sounds major. That's awesome.
Because I've been trying to pitch for a while now. Like I think that there's a lot of really talented, more alty or like out there comedy acts who maybe they don't really like fit well for some of the clubs in Chicago, or like they wouldn't play like the theaters. Oh my gosh, this is getting so embarrassing. What I'm saying, it's the chaos of it, honestly.
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
So on brand with, but yeah. So what I was saying is that like I think that there's an awesome opportunity for my show that I run on Tuesdays to like do. It doesn't have to be every month, but if we could do like a few times a year, like a takeover, like somebody that's like got a following on TikTok and like, you know, like has the time, but maybe isn't the right fit for like a traditional stand-up venue.
Yep.
Because it's underground, you know what I mean? Yeah. Underground comedy implies like it's different, it's off the cuff, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But
I love that. I'm so excited. When I was like looking through Grief Cat's page and stuff, and so it just was a collab where I was like, this makes so much sense, and it's so perfect. I'm so excited. I hope the dates work out for here. But yeah, I can't wait. I hope you guys, that's gonna be great. And also, I love I'm interested in the venue that you're talking about for underground comedy. It's so important to have, like, I feel like as a comic, like a venue where you can like help support other comics coming through and being like, hey, I have this thing. Like, that's something that I've tried to do myself, and like encourage like comics that are like, how do I contribute to the scene? It's like, have a room for comics coming through and like a space for them. And yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like the thing with, so I will be very honest with like, with Beat Kitchen, I feel like we've really had like our own struggles in terms of like, so Chicago Underground Comedy is one of the longest running independent comedy shows in the country. It's been around for over 10 years. And so it's like when the pandemic hit, we lost some of our core producers because they moved during the course of the pandemic, like out of state.
Yep.
As well as like we lost our core audience. So it's been 4 years of just like rebuilding a strong producing team and rebuilding
your audience.
Just like recurring audience members. And I feel like it's like I'm starting to feel really excited and optimistic about the future, because I feel like we finally got a really good, understanding with the venue, and we have people coming and having a fun time, and we even have people coming back. And so it's like, I just want to like keep building it, because I think that like the future of comedy and like what is going to allow comedians to be successful is having these indie rooms, these low stakes rooms where they can try out new shit. And sometimes, like I hosted last night, most of my stuff went pretty well, but there's like one new joke that I did that just, it ate. Like, it ate shit. It was not good. And now I know, okay, I need to work on that a bit more before I do it again. But it's like, when you have a room like that, you can kind of slide your new shit into a hosting set, and you have an actual audience there that can give you the real-time feedback. Whereas like sometimes mics, I love mics, don't get me wrong, but like the comedians are in the back on their phones and not really giving you an honest, you're not always getting an honest representation of what is working and isn't working like you would at a showcase. And
I agree so much of like it's so special to have like an audience that is, number one, fans of comedy, there for just a down ass bitch audience pretty much. And I know like I'm thinking of, because you performed at the Funny Bone in Omaha.
I've not actually.
Why did I think you did? I thought you opened for
oh, did I do? It might have been. Was that Omaha? I think I thought it was Lincoln. No, I did. I opened for Randy.
You did. Okay, because I heard.
That wasn't Omaha. I'm sorry. I mix up. I swear to God, I mix up Omaha and Lincoln in my mind every single time I think about Nebraska, and I need to heal. I need to fix myself. Nebraskans, I'm sorry. I don't know where anything is in your state, and I'll work on it. But yes, I actually did. You are so right. Thank you for remembering my calendar more than me. I did open for Randy Feltface in Omaha. That is true.
Because I had friends that like, I wasn't able to go to the show, but I had friends that went, and they were like, Jamie was fucking awesome. And I'm like, I know. But also, I just feel like a Funny Bone audience, especially in Nebraska, it's so like, they are not experimental, and so sometimes it can be like hard. It's like you have this room full of people, but are they there just to like drink a bucket of beer? So it's like those alt rooms, those indie rooms are special. When you find them, you're like, please, you hold them close.
And the thing is, it's like, so I will say, like, I do have to quickly give Randy Feltface a million of his flowers right now while we brought him up. That man is such a beautiful example of like when you can really kill it in an alt room to the point where you're able to get that alt room to be an alt theater. Like the people who came out to see Randy Feltface were not the typical people.
No, I couldn't imagine.
His fans. And his fans are like gamer guys and their bisexual girlfriends.
Yes.
Like I honestly, it is like my dream, like that's like my ideal demographic. I would like it to be more heavily like the bisexual girlfriends. And just like, I would like it to be probably like the gamer. It'd be like bisexual girlfriends and their gamer boyfriend. Like that's how it would be for me. But it's like, the point I'm trying to make is there is an audience for everyone, for better or for worse. Like we've seen it happen with the people who are spewing hateful, horrible shit. So it's like, I really do think if you have something interesting and funny and relatable to say, it's really just staying the course until you have your audience, and having really good alt indie rooms is part of how you do that. Because it's like, Randy has been doing this, and I always feel funny saying Randy because that's not his actual name, but I don't know that I'm allowed to say his name. But it's like, he's been doing this for 16 years, I think maybe even 17 years now, and it's like, shoot, the work has paid off. It's like, it's not something that happens overnight. Like it is really a marathon and not a sprint. And I'm always so inspired by his story and everything, because it's like, he had like a TV show in the UK, like not UK, in Australia.
Yeah.
And he is doing, this is what I was trying to say. He's doing like a radio show in the UK now. He was on TV in America, but like what really made him get his following was just like one clip on YouTube blew up.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't know what it's going to be, but it's important to have like all these different things on the pot cooking.
Yeah.
And or different pots on the stove cooking.
Yeah.
And one of those is having rooms that people can do live shows in that are not the classic, we're drunk and we wanted to go out on a Thursday night and we love Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a way to code switch and perform for those people as well.
Exactly.
Like, you, as much as you can, you want to find the audiences that you can be authentically yourself in front of, and indie rooms make that possible. So that is, I'm gonna get off my soapbox now.
No,
I agree with you.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. That's so exciting. I feel like, you know, you're already like very successful, but I do also just am like, this is just the beginning of everything. So I just am so excited to see, like, keep following your career over the years, and obviously hopefully work with you like in the future and do shows and stuff. We're kind of rounding down towards the end of the episode. I want you to just take the time and just like plug the shit out of what you have going on for people listening. Plug your socials, dates, shit like that.
Okay, so big things coming up. As Joss already said, my album and my special Corn Baby is out, so you can watch it on YouTube on my channel, or you can listen Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you stream. Please do that. And if you do listen to that or watch that, I would love if you could follow me on Spotify or subscribe on YouTube. And so that out of the way, I'm going to Nashville next week. I'm going to be in Nashville the 17th through the 21st. So if you live in Tennessee, would love to see you. And then I'm doing Minneapolis the last weekend of June. And then for any other dates, just go to my Instagram, which is Jamie Schreiner Sings. And I'd love you to come out when I'm in your town. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
I love that. I'm so excited. Jamie, it was a fucking treat to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I could listen to you talk. Do you have a podcast?
I do and did. We're on hiatus right now, but if you want to listen to the throwback episodes while we are on hiatus, I have a podcast with Beckett Kenny, which is called The Big Finish. And so we have a guest on, we chat to them, and then at the end we improvise a song with the guest.
Whoa, that's really fun.
We are currently on an extended hiatus, but there's a lot of episodes that are still very fun and that you can go listen to as well.
That's exciting. I'm going to check that out. I really like that. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Jamie.
Thanks for having me on, Jamie. You have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.